Dogs are fascinating creatures, and in this video, I'm going to help you understand them even better. Get ready to learn some mind-blowing facts about dogs, like can they get depressed, can they watch TV, and can they even be celiac? But first, let's start with this. Can dogs sweat? The answer is yes, dogs do sweat, but not in the way you might think. Unlike us, they don't have sweat glands all over their bodies. Dogs only sweat through the pads on their paws, thanks to something called merocrine glands. This sweat helps cool them down, but it's not the most efficient system. Ever noticed damp paw prints on a hot day? That's their version of sweating. Now, they do have other sweat glands, apocrine glands, which are spread throughout their bodies. But here's the twist. These don't help with cooling at all. Instead, they release pheromones, which act like scent-based ID cards that dogs use to recognize each other. So if sweating isn't their main cooling method, how do they beat the heat? Dogs regulate their body temperature by panting. When they pant, the moisture evaporates from their tongue and lungs, bringing down their body temperature. But that's not all. They have one more trick up their furry sleeves. Their blood vessels expand, bringing hot blood closer to the skin where it can cool off before returning to the heart. And here's a cool fact. Your dog's coat doesn't just keep them warm in winter. It actually helps them stay cool in summer, too. Dogs with double coats like huskies or golden retrievers have an insulating undercoat that protects them from extreme heat. So if you were thinking about shaving your pup for summer, don't! Without their coat, they lose that natural protection and can actually overheat faster. Can all dogs swim? You'd think all dogs are natural-born swimmers, right? Well, not exactly. Some dogs shouldn't even attempt it without help. Some dogs love the water and were bred for swimming, like Labrador Retrievers and Portuguese water dogs. These guys practically have built-in swim gear and thrive in the water. But for others, swimming is a real struggle. Dogs with stocky bodies, short legs, or flat faces, like bulldogs or pugs, weren't built for swimming. Their weight isn't well distributed, so staying afloat is a challenge, and they can tire out quickly. If your dog falls into this category, a doggy life vest is a must. It'll keep them safe and supported so they don't sink like a furry little anchor. But don't worry, even if your dog isn't a natural swimmer, they can still enjoy the water with the right training and gear. Just always supervise them, help them feel comfortable, and make sure swimming is a safe and fun experience. And now let's dive into something a little more serious. Can dogs get depressed? Depression isn't just a human thing. Dogs can feel down too. Major changes in routine, losing a loved one, or lack of activity can seriously affect their emotional well-being. And if your pup isn't getting enough mental stimulation, especially if they're a high-energy breed, it can lead to boredom and sadness. Spending too much time alone is another big trigger. Dogs are social animals, and without enough interaction, they can start to feel lonely and withdrawn. So, how do you know if your dog is depressed? Look out for these signs. Lethargy, less energy, more sleeping, loss of appetite, no interest in walks or playtime, seeking isolation, or becoming overly anxious. If this sounds like your dog, don't worry, there is hope. You can help them by increasing exercise. A tired dog is a happy dog. Spending quality time with them. Introducing fun mental challenges, puzzle toys, training, scent games, and if things don't improve, a vet or behaviorist can help find the best solution. With love, patience, and engagement, your dog can bounce back to their happy, tail-wagging self. Can my dog tell when I'm sad? Absolutely! Your dog can sense your emotions, and their reaction might surprise you. Your furry friend picks up on subtle cues like your tone of voice, body language, and even energy levels. You don't need to say a word. They just know when something's off. And how do they respond? Some dogs will try to comfort you. They might snuggle up, rest their head on you, or even bring you their favorite toy, as if to say, "Hey, I'm here for you." Others prefer to stay close but not interfere, giving you space while still keeping an eye on you. This isn't just a coincidence. Science backs it up. Dogs have something called mirror neurons, which allow them to emotionally connect with humans. It's truly heartwarming to know your dog will always be by your side, in the good times and the bad. But that's not the only thing they can figure out about you. Can dogs detect illnesses? Dogs have an insanely powerful sense of smell. So powerful, in fact, that they can detect certain diseases before symptoms even appear. Their noses can pick up on chemical changes in the body linked to conditions like cancer, diabetes, and even seizures. One study found that trained dogs could identify cancer with 97% accuracy just by sniffing blood samples. Some dogs can also sense narcoleptic episodes or epileptic seizures before they happen, giving their owners a crucial early warning. And here's the wild part: not all dogs need training to do this. Some just instinctively pick up on these changes and react accordingly. So if your dog is suddenly fixated on a certain spot on your body or acting unusually concerned, pay attention. They might just be trying to warn you about something important. Of course, this doesn't replace a doctor's visit, but it's yet another example of how deep the human-dog bond really goes. Now, let's keep talking about health, but this time, it's all about your dog. Can dogs be lactose intolerant? Yep. Dogs can be lactose intolerant, and it's actually pretty common. When they're born, puppies have the right enzymes to digest their mother's milk. But as they grow, many lose that ability, making cow's milk hard to process. The most common signs of lactose intolerance in dogs include diarrhea, vomiting, gas, and stomach pain. That being said, not all dairy products affect dogs the same way. Milk is the biggest culprit, but some dogs can handle plain yogurt or small amounts of cheese without an issue. However, if your pup shows any symptoms after eating dairy, it's best to avoid it altogether. And before you think about switching to plant-based milks, hold up. Almond, soy, or oat milk might sound like a good alternative, but many contain sugars or artificial sweeteners like xylitol, which can be toxic to dogs. So, to keep your dog happy and healthy, stick to safe, dog-friendly treats instead. Oh, and before we move on to the next point, I've got a special freebie for you. Visit happydogsplace.com/gift to download a free guide packed with tips to make your dog happier. You'll discover fun, simple ways to keep your furry friend entertained and stress-free. Don't forget to check the description for the link. Can dogs have celiac disease? Dogs can be sensitive to gluten, but not in the same way humans with celiac disease are. In people, celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder that damages the small intestine when gluten is consumed. For dogs, gluten intolerance varies by breed and can cause different health issues. For example, Irish setters. Some can develop gluten-sensitive enteropathy, leading to chronic diarrhea and weight loss. Luckily, these symptoms usually improve with a gluten-free diet. On the other hand, in border terriers, gluten can cause paroxysmal dyskinesia, a condition that leads to abnormal muscle movements and episodes of tremors. Removing gluten from their diet can greatly reduce these episodes. Even though some breeds are more sensitive to gluten, dogs don't develop full-blown celiac disease like humans do. But if you suspect your dog has a gluten intolerance, the best thing to do is consult a vet. Avoid switching their diet on your own, as dogs need a balanced intake of nutrients to stay healthy and happy. Can dogs fake being sick? Believe it or not, yes, some dogs can fake being sick to get attention. This behavior usually starts after a real illness. Imagine your dog coughs one day and suddenly you shower them with extra cuddles and treats. They might connect the dots and think, hey, coughing equals more attention. I should do this more often. Now, before you panic, dogs can't fake things like fever or diarrhea, but they can deliberately limp, cough, or sneeze to get your reaction, because they have control over those movements. That said, this kind of behavior is super rare. If your dog seems sick, always take them to the vet first to rule out real health problems. Never assume they're faking it. When it comes to your dog's health, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Can dogs remember the past? Ever wondered, does my dog remember that amazing walk we took last month? Well, the answer is yes, but not in the way you think. Dogs do have memory, but it works differently from ours. They don't recall things with detailed images or a timeline like humans do. Instead, they remember through sensory associations, smells, sounds, and visual cues. For example, a dog can recognize someone's voice or scent even after years apart. Studies suggest that dogs may have a form of episodic memory, meaning they can recall specific past events. Research has even shown that dogs can repeat actions they did in the past when asked, proving they have a surprising ability to remember experiences. And while their long-term memory is pretty solid, especially when it comes to people and animals they have bonded with, their short-term memory isn't great. So, if your dog chews up your shoes and you scold them an hour later, they probably won't understand what they did wrong. Speaking of time, can dogs tell what time it is? Dogs can't read clocks, but honestly, they don't need to. Our four-legged friends have an amazing ability to sense the passage of time. Their internal clock is based on routines, biological rhythms, and environmental cues like light and darkness. That's why they always know when it's time for dinner or when you're about to come home. This is all tied to their circadian rhythm, a 24-hour cycle that regulates sleep and activity just like in humans. But here's the cool part. Studies show that dogs actually notice how long you've been gone. They react differently if you've been away for 10 minutes versus a few hours. The longer you're gone, the more excited they are when you return. Even though they don't experience time the way we do, dogs are great at recognizing patterns and anticipating daily events. So, yeah, your dog definitely knows when it's time for a walk. You're not fooling them. Can dogs tell if a woman is pregnant? Dogs are super observant, so it's no surprise that they can pick up on changes when a woman is pregnant. Thanks to their incredible sense of smell, dogs can detect subtle shifts in body odor, including those caused by hormonal changes during pregnancy. And while there's no definitive scientific proof that dogs can recognize pregnancy, many owners swear their dogs started acting differently. Some dogs become more protective, more affectionate, or even a little anxious. But it's not just their sense of smell at play here. Dogs are experts at picking up on changes in routines and emotions. If you're sleeping more, moving differently, or feeling more tired, your dog will notice. And they'll likely adjust their behavior accordingly. Pretty impressive, huh? Now here's something else to think about. Can dogs watch TV? So, can dogs actually watch TV? Well, the short answer is yes. But their experience is totally different from ours. For starters, dogs have dichromatic vision, meaning they can only see shades of blue and yellow, red and green. Those colors just blend together for them, making everything look a little less vibrant than what we see. Another big difference, their eyes process motion differently. Dogs have a higher flicker fusion rate, which means that if a TV has a slow refresh rate, they don't see smooth motion. They see a series of blinking images instead. But okay, even though their vision works differently, dogs can watch TV. The real question is, do they actually enjoy it? Well, that depends. A dog's interest in TV varies based on their personality, breed, and past experiences. Fast movements and high-pitched sounds like barking or squeaky noises tend to grab their attention. Hunting and herding breeds are more likely to react, since their natural instincts kick in. Studies show that dogs prefer watching other dogs and animals on screen. In fact, there are even channels like Dog TV designed just for them, with content tailored to stimulate, relax, or entertain dogs. That said, not every dog cares about TV. Some will sit there totally fascinated, while others couldn't care less or might even bark at the screen. In the end, it all depends on your pup and what catches their attention. Speaking of grabbing attention, I've got another video you don't want to miss. Ever wondered how dogs choose their favorite person? Turns out they don't just pick someone randomly, there's actual science behind it. Tap the video on the screen to find out if you are your dog's #1 human. Let's see where you stand in your pup's heart.